And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about MGTOW, and I'm going to explain my views on it. What's interesting about this channel from now on, what I'm trying to do is to have people go over to my Patreon, patreon.com/men of high value. On there, the link is down below. On there, you will see all of the live sessions that I've done on the Men of High Value channel uploaded there. This is the reason why you won't see any of the videos on the Men of High Value channel, because every upload goes directly there the moment I finish the live stream. So if you want to be part of it there, it's basically less than $1 every single day. And you'll have access to everything that I share with you there if you haven't been on the live stream. So let's talk about MGTOW. I created the 3 B's for MGTOW. What are they? Burned, Burned, blame, and bitter. And I'm gonna explain it. What is MGTOW, by the way? MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. It is a massive movement of basically men who have struggled with women in the past, or who are upset that women aren't interested in them, or who has gotten burned by women divorcing them or cheating on them or doing something that basically men have discovered now women's true nature, and because they understand female nature a bit better than they did before because of all these YouTube videos that they're watching, now that they're basically saying that, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have women in my life anymore. My life is so much better, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's look at that aspect. Why do I call them basically that they're burned, blamed, and bitter? If you look at the burned aspect, this is what I just mentioned here. Most of the guys have been rejected by women, or been cheated on by women, or have had horrible experiences, and because of that, it's kind of just like a fire. Okay, they've touched the fire maybe even multiple times, and then they've had enough. It's too risky to be involved with women. Is just simply too risky, because they can do so much damage to you in terms of your emotions. Happens too, if you're threatened by a woman. I had a guy one time tell me that his ex-girlfriend had, tried to hit him with her car, and then instead of hitting him because he managed to avoid it, she ended up hitting his car, which is his favorite car, etc., etc. So there's crazy stuff going on in the world right now, and MGTOW is still an issue. It's still a problem. It's still not the truth. It's not that which works, okay? And on this channel, the only thing we talk about is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. If MGTOW worked, then that's what I would teach you on this channel. But it doesn't. And keep watching for me to explain to you why. So, obviously they've been burned. What are they gonna do? Well, the first thing that they do is they blame. And what is interesting about blaming? When you point fingers, okay, when you say that this is something that she did, and you obviously don't feel that it's fair, you want justice, etc., etc., and you're blaming her for whatever happened to you. Now, this is crucial to understand. What is it that men desire? Most of all, really, as part of our, the universal plan that we've been put on here to experience. Men desire power, okay? So if you desire power in your life, power can come in forms of abundance, the ability to do, in terms of confidence, in terms of all these things. You want power. Power is a fantastic thing. However, very often when a man gets burned, okay, he feels as though he has now less confidence because of the woman. He has less abundance because of the woman. Stole his money, took too much in the divorce settlement or whatever it is. Took the kids, okay? Basically stripped him of his manliness, right? So he feels now that in order for him to be manly, then he needs to blame her. It's obvious that she did these things to me, and because of that, I'm not a man anymore. So now I have to build myself from scratch again. Well, guess whose fault is it? Right? It's the man's fault. Why? Every single time, I've always said it before, if the woman cheats, it's the man's fault. If the woman leaves a man, it's the man's fault. If the woman does this, that, or the other, it does not matter. It is, give me a chance to explain. There are women out there that actually have meaningful, wonderful relationships with the man, okay? There are women out there who end up staying with their same partner for life. So what's interesting about this is that these guys that have been burned, they're blaming, but they're also the common denominator in every single experience that they have with women, right? Obviously, women have common denominators because women are basically the same, okay? Just like men are pretty much the same. We all want the same stuff and we all kind of operate the same way. Yes, we're all unique and special, blah, 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 but most of the time we're all the same. Which means that the man is the common denominator in all of his sucky relationships. So I say, women are simply a reflection of you. If you suck, then the women you're gonna attract in your life will suck. I'm gonna repeat it because I want you to remember this forever. I want this to be ironed into your brain because if you do that, everything will change in your life. If you suck, the women in your life will suck. Women are merely a reflection of you, okay? So if you ever want to have great relationships with women in the future, you simply have to be amazing. That's it. If you are amazing, then the woman in your life will never, ever leave you. And I'm not talking now about being a nice guy or being a good boy or doing the things that she desires you to do, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about you being the kind of man that women slobber over, that women desire with all of their hearts and their bodies, okay? Because if you are that kind of guy, then there's always going to be multiple women desiring to be with you, and that's the thing that keeps women on their toes in the relationship. They want to be with the man of high value. What determines if he's high value is if other women are interested in him. That's it. That's the quickest way for women to determine whether a man is high value or not, is if other women are interested in him, okay? So if you are the kind of guy that all women desire to be with, if they could, then you basically have secured yourself a woman that wants to be with you for life, right? You have to become amazing. The moment you become amazing, the women in your life are going to be amazing. Does that make logical sense? Because it should. But very often, MGTOW guys are blaming other people, meaning the women in their lives, saying that women are crazy, women do this, women do that, when really they should be blaming themselves. When really they should be looking at their lives and what can I do to improve? What can I do to become better? How can I fix myself? How can I compete, okay, in the marketplace to be the best possible man that women can ever get? I've always known in my entire life, okay, before I got married, I was basically saying to myself, you know, I was saying, I'm going to be the best man ever. Like, I'm going to be the best husband women will ever see. Well, you know, like, it's not going to be possible to be a better husband than I am because family was my highest value. Now, the problem is, okay, and I go into this in greater detail on my 3 Girls in Love channel. If you haven't checked that out, check out my 3 Girls in Love channel because I talk about there how monogamy sucks. They're not designed for polyamory either. They're not designed for multiple loves and all that crap. We're destined to have families. Both men and women desire families, but women are, or femininity is by nature monogamous. And masculinity by nature is polygamous. So really, what we're designed to do is, in my understanding, 3 girls in love. So when I say that I'm married and I've figured all of this out, you gotta understand that monogamy sucks. Monogamy doesn't work very well. 3 girls in love, on the other hand, is absolutely amazing. Okay, but let's go back to the blaming aspect, because if we want power as men in our lives, the moment we point, or Okay, I'm back. So if you are blaming someone else, you're literally giving your power away to the person that you're blaming. It doesn't mean that they're going to take that power and change and do something about it, because the definition of power is the ability to do. Which means that if you blame someone else, you now have effectively made a decision to never change. It's the other person's problem. If the other person would just change and become better and improve, then we'd have an amazing relationship. This is what most men do to women. And men don't understand that women by nature don't change. They remain the same, okay? They simply are a reflection of you and reflection of their environment. They're environmental creatures. So if their environment sucks, they're gonna suck. So if you are blaming women, you're taking away your power, giving it away, and hoping that she or they will change. They won't. Which means that you're going to have sucky relationships forever if you just simply continue to blame. So let's say, for example, that you now instead take the blame. What happens? You now have the ability to change. And if you can change, then you can improve the environment around you and you can improve yourself, which causes the woman to naturally change in order for her to keep you, in order for her to be with you, and in order for her to compete with the other women that she's, that she's basically competing with to get your attention. Does that make sense? So the last aspect of MGTOW is basically being bitter. Once you've been burned, and then you're blaming, which means that you're deciding that you're never gonna change and you're not gonna improve yourself, you're going to be bitter. Why? Because other people are going to have the lifestyle that you desire. You're not going to get what you always wanted because your belief systems are skewed. Okay? Your belief systems are screwed over. Why? Because you're thinking so small, man. You're thinking just because a few girls rejected you, just because a few girls don't want you in their lives, just because a few girls dumped your ass or cheated on you, you think that there's no more women that are good these days. Oh, everyone sucks. Every woman is going to do this and that to me. Okay? That's small, scarcity-minded thinking. If you begin to think big, okay, then you're beginning to think there's always a solution. Which means basically when you're bitter, you're choosing to remain in your ignorance. Because if you knew the truth of how women worked, then it would work, right? If you knew how to have women be retained in your life and actually behave nicely towards you and give you the emotional needs that, fulfilling the emotional needs that you have, then everything would be wonderful. Why would God create a system whereby it's destined to fail, right? Why would he say, put us in place where, okay, women are supposed to complement men and men are supposed to complement women. They're supposed to come together, create families, and create and evolve into a better generation with each generation. Why would he make it so that women would be so difficult that they're impossible to figure out? Why would he do that? Why would he screw up his own system like that? It doesn't make any sense. Which means that there must be a way for us to actually get women into our lives who actually we can enjoy spending time with, and they enjoy spending time with us, and we, as long as we follow the rules of that system, then women are amazing. And they'll be angels. And they'll be exactly what we want them to be in our lives if we simply follow the rules. That's it. So, do you know the rules of female nature? If you don't, then you need to watch my 3 Girls in Love channel, right? Make sure you subscribe there too, just as much as on this channel. So, if we know this, right, that there's a system, and if you just simply follow that system, you'll be able to get what it is that you want from women. Simple as that. Because when you think about it, everyone wants women in their lives. Who doesn't want women? As long as they behave the correct way that we desire them to behave, as long as they are actually they're how we want them to be, and they are, feeling great about themselves, and great about you, and great about their kids, and great about life and positivity and femininity, etc., etc. All men would want those kinds of women. Well, guess what? They are actually there. All women were designed for that. It's just that men have sucked in creating the necessary environment for women to thrive. And women are not able to create that environment, which means that that responsibility is actually ours as men of high value, to make sure that that environment for women is amazing. Not by being simps or being nice guys, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about setting standards for what we appreciate and what we love, and then, giving our distance when basically the environment is not the way we desire it to be, right? As long as we qualify the right way, and we are a better common denominator in the relationships that we have with women, everything's going to be awesome. But interestingly enough, I tell people to not get involved with women on my channel. Okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean that we're MGTOWs on the Men of High Value channel? I'm going to list you 3 different ways that you can be a MGTOW. And 2 of them suck. And you need to get out of there as fast as possible if you're one of them. The third one, however, is the best type of MGTOW, and that is a temporary MGTOW. So what are the 3 different ones? The first one, which is the most horrific one, the one that I basically am disgusted by if you are part of that aspect, if you are a MGTOW in this aspect. And that is basically, you've removed yourself from having relationships with women, meaning ongoing relationships with women, which means that you're a player. So whenever you have the opportunity of having sex with a girl, you'll take it. But you are committed to never becoming romantically involved in a relationship. You basically just want one-night stands. You're the Tinder guy, or you're the Hinge guy, or the Bumble guy, or whatever it is, or you go out on weekends, you sleep around, and you get your fix, and then that's it. That's basically you, okay? Horrific. Have no respect for you, none whatsoever. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you're literally screwing women over. And you're making them more difficult to handle for the men in their future. Okay? You basically, there's 2 options for women when they sleep around with someone. Okay? The option is that it gets into a relationship, right? Or that she basically just increased her notch count, which is basically her partner count. That sucks. All right, and she is going to, if you're the one who leaves her behind, which is what you're basically doing if you're a MGTOW, you've decided you're not going to commit to a relationship, that means that you are leaving her behind. Well, women get screwed over in their brains, okay, from a mental health standpoint, if you screw them over and leave. Because now you suddenly have become high value in their eyes, even though you are a low value man. Which means that her self-worth and self-confidence will be based upon you doing that to her. Does that make sense? So it's a horrific thing to do because she's not capable of moving on as well as a man can. When women say that they can have sex as much as men do and be okay with it, it's not true. It's not real. It's false, because women have they have a completely different emotional structure than men do. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I want you to listen to the video that I made a couple of months back, which was called Casual Sex for Women is Russian Roulette. Because that goes over in detail about all the things that I'm just mentioning here right now. If you get into a relationship, which you won't because you're a MGTOW, you're just basically screwing them over, okay? She's going to compare you to all the other, to all the men that she's with, and it's going to give her more desire to get over you. So she's going to try to get under another guy, which will probably increase her partner count even more. And this is what we're getting in the world today. It's basically slutty women, which is not their fault if men had not initiated relationships with them. Men are being massively hypocritical when it comes to this because they want virgins. Have you noticed that? Right? If you want a long-term relationship, you want a virgin. But you're basically screwing virgins over. and you're screwing women over and giving them higher and higher partner counts, making them more and more mentally unstable, and making the world a darker and drearier place. Every single woman that you have a casual relationship with. Stop it, okay? I'm just saying it clear and out loud so that you guys can understand that that is the worst way to think about it, because men and women are so massively different when it comes to that emotional standpoint. You can't just sleep around and hope for the best, okay? So that's one aspect, and it's the worst one. If you're one of those, man, I hope you change your ways, because it's not making the world a better place, that's for sure. And it's very selfish, and it actually ruins your life in the long run. You might feel that it's fun right now, but the more you participate in the player mindset of being a MGTOW that way, the less you're going to be capable of loving women in the future. Like, you're basically, that's just going to be a physical drive for you, and you're going to have no emotional investment in these women, none whatsoever, and you actually are going to miss out on feeling love and depth in any long-term relationship with women. Obviously, since you're a MGTOW, you might not care, but man, it's a dark and dreary place in your brain too if that's how you think about women. I don't want to be with you, like, I don't want to be you or in your position for the rest of your life, because it's a very sucky lifestyle to live like. Okay, the next one would be MGTOWs that are incels, involuntary celibates, and the other one would be voluntary celibates. Now, but they've made a commitment that they're not gonna interact romantically in terms of actually at all with women, right? The first one, they enjoy casual relationships. The second one, the involuntary celibates and the voluntary celibates, well, the involuntary celibates, if they could, they'd wish they could be players, okay? But you know, since they can't, and they struggle and have mental issues and self-worth issues and all that crap, they basically have to build themselves up to be able to master that. So there's a lot of guys in the world these days that are incels right now and that are trying to become players. Horrific. You're basically climbing the ladder on the wrong wall, and it's not going to produce happiness and joy for you long term. It's quick fix. You have quick release. It's kind of like taking drugs, and you're going to have massive collapse afterwards because you feel lonely even though you're having tons of women in your life. Because they also understand, oh, he's not interested in a committed relationship. That was just the one night stand. I don't want to have anything to do with him, blah, 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 blah. So you just get all these crappy stuff going on. But there are voluntary celibates that have committed to be basically monks for life. I know about them. Some of these guys are Christians or religious guys who are basically saying, I don't want to get involved with women at all. Do you know who you could compare those guys to? You could compare them with homosexuals. Why? Because homosexuals basically have absolved themselves from the responsibility of taking women into their lives to take care of them, to provide for them, to protect them, and to make sure that they are safe in terms of providing children for this man and the next generation, and making the world a better and better and better place. Imagine if you go through your life and you never pass on your knowledge to the next generation. Now you can say, I want to be a Robert Kiyosaki guy who have no kids, but basically my philosophies will live on forever. Okay, I have massive respect for Robert Kiyosaki, but they chose not to have kids. But he chose to involve himself with the woman at least, okay, like he got married. But you understand what I'm trying to say is basically the voluntary celibate that doesn't take upon himself the aspect of taking women on, okay, as a responsibility, because that is the right thing to do, there's a problem there. Now, I would say if you're basically thinking that monogamy is the right thing to do, maybe you should be voluntary celibate for life, okay? Because monogamy is hard. Monogamy is crappy, and there might be a big chance that you don't understand female nature very well, so your monogamous relationship is not going to work out very well either. Okay, so you basically put yourself in the same risk as all the other guys who are oblivious and do not understand female nature at all. You don't want to be in that position either. So what is the absolute best thing? The best thing is to desire a family. You want happiness, you want joy, you want bliss, you want women in your life, you want kids, right? And you want to have abundance of everything it is that you desire. You want to be worshipped, okay? You want to have sexual worship from your women. You're 3 women, 3 girls in love, right? What, as I mentioned in the video. I'm explaining to you here that the third phase, or the third kind of MGTOW there is is the temporary MGTOW, which is basically this channel. What I teach on this channel is basically put away all relationships with women right now. Even if you have a girlfriend, just tell her that you're going to be busy for the next 3 years and see if she wants to basically be around for that long. But most probably she's going to cheat on you anyway if you tell her that. But I'm just telling you, you want to be focused on you right now, temporarily. Just remove all distraction, remove anything that's going to stop you from becoming the man that you were designed to become. The main focus you need to have in your life right now, if you don't have a lot of cash, is to focus on getting a lot of cash, okay? Because that's the financial foundation that sets you up so that you can retain women in the long run. It costs a lot of money to have family, okay? Not only to have one woman, but to have 3 spenders, okay? But not only 3 spenders, you also want kids in the future, and kids are expensive. So you want to set up your foundation the right way, and the best way is MGTOW for a time, right? And I recommend until you get to, let's say, $100,000, or depending upon which time you see this video, if the dollar is still the same amount, then okay, that's the goal. Get to 100K so that you can start 3 Girls in Love. And I'm not saying that you should immediately start 3 Girls in Love just because you've gotten 100K. I'm saying that that is the time when you can now develop your understanding of female nature, hire a coach, someone who knows how to retain women and how to retain them for life, and how to have 3 women retained instead of just 1, so that you can keep that family forever. Okay, so that you not only get the shallow, exciting aspect of a relationship, but you also get the depth. Okay, you don't want just one of the other. Very often in monogamy, you just have the friendliness, you just have the depth of friendship. Okay, but you want to have the exciting, the fired up inside the bedroom type action as well, right? So you need both. But monogamy sucks because it doesn't give you both. But 3 Girls in Love has the opportunity to give you exactly that. Both shallow and depth in a relationship with multiple women at the same time who have harmony in the same home, same house, and enjoy their life together with you and your kids, okay? So that's what this channel is about. Over time, that's what we're going to develop. But simply put, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. MGTOW, it's a good aspect. There are many positive things to it, but it needs to be temporary. If you take yourself off the market forever, you suck. You're not a man, you're being feminine. Stop it. If you basically take yourself off the market for a time so that you can build up your financial foundation, so that you can contribute and be a team player in terms of making this world a better place and creating heaven on earth, MGTOW is a fantastic thing, temporarily, so that you can set up your financial foundation, get your mind right, get your mentality right, get your emotional, all of your crap, your baggage, get it off, in terms of having a coach, having someone help you to get rid of it, right? So that you're ready, so that you're consistent, so that you're basically a tree, okay, that your women in the future can hold on to, so that you can be the sun that the women revolve around, okay? It's like crazy for them, there's wind, rain, and sunshine, and all those crazy emotions, okay? I'm comparing that to emotions right now, in women, but they always know that they have a constant in their life, and that constant is their man of high value. That's the one that brings them, unify them all together, and creates a beautiful family around. You can be that man, but you got to understand the foundation first, building that up. You got to understand the female nature and how to retain them forever, because then you can have confidence all of the time, no matter what happens. Because you got the information, you got the knowledge, and you're putting in the practice to make sure that you're keeping yourself strong. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to answer some quick, see what the live chat has to say. And after that, I'm going to take it off YouTube. So if you want to watch this one again, or watch future videos that I'm going to do live and you can't make it for some live stream, or because I did it at a random time so you can't get it, go to patreon.com/menofhighvalue and you can sign up and become a supporter of the movement there. So let's just answer these questions real quick. What do you mean 3 women? Okay, I hope you understand that. 3 Girls in Love. I'm broken up with my girlfriend for a period of time. Congratulations, fantastic, so proud of you. I'm so proud of all of you guys who are breaking up with your girlfriends temporarily. Yes, they're going to be broken, those women, but as long as you don't have sex with them, it's not that big a deal, really, kind of. You don't want to be emotionally involved with them, you know, non-sexually either, but I'm just saying, the worse it gets, the longer you've been together with them. So then you need to figure out if you're going to be with them forever or not. Just DM me at Instagram, Men of High Value, and I'll tell you what I think about it. Let's see. MGTOWs hate criticism of any kind, a lot of mob mentality. Yeah, I know. And the reason why is because, again, they got burned, they're blaming, and they're bitter. And because they're blaming, it's never, ever, ever their fault. But it's their fault. The reason why MGTOWs are so negative and so mob mentality, like you're explaining here, is simply because they've learned about female nature. They've learned about hypergamy. And because of that, they're basically following what they call the manosphere. They're following the players, you know, all that blogs and learning about female nature on YouTube, all these guys that have all this true knowledge about women. It's amazing to see what people know about women these days. Yeah, but all of those guys, I haven't found one channel, you know, from the player movement, from the MGTOW movement, from anywhere that talks about women the way I talk about them, in terms that it's not women's fault, it's completely your fault as a man, and you need to be the one that creates the perfect environment, because if you do, then women are simply going to massively enjoy their lives with you. And if they enjoy their lives, you're obviously going to enjoy your life too. Right? It's that simple, really. But it's also complicated. Okay, what are we saying? Yeah. Anything else? No, that's it. So basically, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I will see you in the next one.